Hello breakspirit.com and YouTube viewers. Today I'm going to show you how to clean the lid of your aquarium when it gets really dirty. And this is a prime example right here. This is off my 125 gallon tank. It's just one of the 3 panels on there. And that's as dirty as anything I've ever had in any of my aquariums, and so I thought I'd show you how to really give something a good solid cleaning. Now you might think, why do you need a video to know how to clean glass? I mean, it's obvious enough. But if you have like hard water like I do, if you have really strong algae growth on something, just rags are not going to do it. You're never going to get that off of there with rags. And so I did find a product that totally gets all that crap off of there like it's nothing. SOS pads. It's the single greatest cleaning product that was ever invented. So I'll show you what you got to do. First step is take your hose and you get all the big chunks of stuff off of there. Get all the loose stuff off, and then you're going to hit it with the SOS pad, and that gets like everything off, including the hard water deposits and stuff, and that's really the hard part to get off of there. Actually, before we do this, before we actually hose it off, we're going to go ahead and take the plastic strips off of there and kind of break down the individual pieces of glass so we can really get into there, so that by the time we're done with this will look like a brand new lid. So hang on one second. Alright, then obviously the next step is you just give everything a real good spraying, both sides, and make sure you get into the crevices where the glass fits into the plastic trim pieces, and you'll see that about 80% of it or so comes off with just water. Just my hose. One of the big benefits to cleaning the lid of your aquarium really well is that it lets a lot more light through, because when the glass gets dirty, it blocks substantial amounts of your lighting from getting into the tank. And that's the primary reason that I'm doing this. So like I said before, you can get about 80% of it with just water. But all the rest of that, you're never going to get off with water, and really even towels don't get it off very well. And that's where the SOS pads come in. And I'll remind you, obviously an SOS pad has cleaning solution in it, so don't use it while the glass is on the tank, because if you get some of that in your water, that's really bad, so don't do that. And also don't use SOS pads on acrylic, because that will scratch the hell out of acrylic, but it doesn't scratch glass at all. So next step. See, I've tried using like regular rags and paper towels and stuff on this kind of algae, and it like never comes off. But SOS pad gets it off like it's nothing. Clean along the edges too, the parts that goes into the plastic seams. And definitely make sure you don't break the glass while you're playing with it. I did do that one time. I would say probably it's a bad idea to do this on concrete, but that's what I'll have. If you have a deck or something, that'd be a much better place to be doing this, because then you wouldn't be able to scratch the glass or anything like that, or potentially chip the glass. As you can see right now, I'm holding the glass off of the concrete with my hand, so it's not doing anything to it. So as you can see, that looks almost perfect. There's a little bit of mineral deposit still, a little bit right there, but another hit with the SOS pad will get all of that off of there. And then, you'll want to do that to the other piece of glass also, and you will of course want to hit the pieces of plastic trim with the SOS pad. Just get all that crap out of there. And I've just used the same SOS pad for all 3 panels of my 125 gallon tank. So that's 72 inches of glass, and it's still perfectly clean and everything. But I will reiterate, do not do this while the glass is still on the tank, because if you get any of this soapy stuff in the tank, that'll definitely mess up your fish. And you can use these on an empty tank. If you got like let's say you buy a used tank and it's really cruddy, got mineral deposits and whatever in there, you could use one of these and clean out the tank really well. You just got to make sure that before you fill it, you rinse all that out really well. But like I said, these are the single greatest cleaning product that was ever invented. And any grocery store sells them. So that guy is pretty much perfect. And this is the first time I've ever actually cleaned the lid of this aquarium, and so this is like a couple of years of crud. That's why it looks so dirty. It's several years of crud. And 5 minutes of work, it's all good as new and ready to go back on the tank. So I'm going to finish all of the rest of this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. So I've got all 3 pieces of glass pretty well cleaned. They're drying right now, and I'm going to hit them with a microfiber cloth before I put them on the tank. And this is the tank in question here. And the last step before you put them back on is you'll want to make sure you clean out the places where the glass sits, the rims there. And the reason my glass got so dirty was that my overflows tend to push some water up out of the tank, which splashes on the glass. I have them like this so that they aerate the tank really well. They push there's a lot of water movement on the top, as you can see, and it's good for the fish. However, I recently set up this guy here. It's a bubbler, which I then ran a water line down to the end of this power head, so that really aerates the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and push those overflows so that they push down into the tank more and don't disturb the water levels or the water line so much and splash onto my lid. But anyway, I do have I'm sorry, not overflow, those are returns. But anyway, I do have an overflow here, which would take any kind of surface film off of there anyway. So that bubbler is more than sufficient for what I need it for. Alright, got the lids back on the tank. Notice everything looks real nice and bright. Definitely looks a lot brighter than it did before I cleaned off the glass. Things nice and clean. And I will say that I forgot to mention, when you clean the rim of the tank before you put the glass in, make sure you don't use any cleaners there, just water. You see I did point the return lines downwards. Make sure I get a good view of the top. Alright, thanks for watching.